Yo, what's up guys, this is none other than Sarukage, and I'm here back with part 1 to What If Deku, or maybe even the movie. I haven't really decided yet. To What If Deku was Broly's reincarnation. Now, if this is going to be a movie, it is going to be a short one, considering that Deku, of course, being Broly's reincarnation, is going to be built and pretty overpowered. Of course, in typical Broly fashion, he's gonna put everyone to shame. Not right away, of course, not right away, but overpowered. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's get started. We would see Izuku. He'll be sitting down in the quirk doctor's office. He'll be awaiting patiently, as he'd have a nervous look on his face. He would just be saying to himself, please have a quirk, please have a quirk, please have a quirk, please have a quirk. Suddenly the quirk doctor would open the door. Inko and Izuku will look at him. As the quirk doctor will look down at his paper before looking at Inko and saying, Inko, I'm sorry, but your son doesn't have a quirk. He's quirkless. Inko would say, I understand. Izuku's eyes would just widen at this. Tears would start streaming down his face, as his whole dream of being a hero would have just been crushed right in front of him. As the quirk doctor would walk over to Izuku before kneeling down, saying, it's okay, Izuku. You never know. You might become the first quirkless hero. Even if you don't have a quirk, you still have a chance of becoming a hero. See, not all heroes wear capes. You could be a firefighter. You could be whatever you want to be, Izuku. You just have to put in the work. You have to put in that hard work. You understand, Izuku? Izuku would wipe his tears away before looking at the quirk doctor saying, yeah. This is where Izuku and Inko would essentially get ice cream. Now, are they popping fireworks? Ain't no fucking way. Out of all times, they popping fireworks? Like, oh my god, bro. My bad. Sorry for your background noise, but yeah. This is where Izuku and Inko would arrive home. Izuku would walk inside the door as Inko would look at him before saying, I really am sorry, Izuku. Izuku would just look at her before saying, why, Mom? I'm going to become the first ever quirkless hero. This is where he put on a smile, just like All Might, as he'd hug his mom, saying, don't cry, Mom, as you let go of his hug before saying, but Mom, can you start getting me some weights and stuff? I want to start working out, as if I don't have a quirk, I should start getting in shape now, so I don't have to later. Now, this is where we would cut to see, essentially, Izuku at the start of the anime. He would be walking down the street, taller than most people, no, all the people there, towering over them. He would be a staggering, and I mean this, as I do want Izuku to be tall, and I'm pretty sure Broly's pretty tall as well. He would be a staggering that's white beard height. He would be a staggering 8 feet tall. No, 8.5 feet tall. Yeah. Izuku would of course be built, as he is Broly's reincarnation. As Izuku would just walking, he would have his headphones and jam and listen to music, bumping his head. Suddenly, he would see an explosion. Izuku would take off his headphones before putting them around his neck, As of course, the villain you see at the start of the anime would arrive. He would be standing on top of the train tracks, looking around, saying, where is he? Where is he? As Izuku would see this, while people would stop and look, Izuku would run past them, leaping on top of the train tracks. Pretty sure it's train tracks. He would look, saying, "Who the hell are you?" Izuku would say, "I'm the person who's gonna stop you." This is where the villain would say, "I didn't want to have to do this today, but damn it, you made me." He'd run at Izuku before trying to hit him. This is where Izuku would seemingly see it in slow motion. He would dodge out of the way, grabbing him by his arm, flipping him on his back, before hitting him with a punch. As he would get up, kicking Izuku back. Not sending him flying, no. Just causing Izuku to be pushed back only 2 inches. This is where the man would say, "How the hell?" Before he could say a word, Izuku would just walk slowly to him. This is where an aura would start to surround Izuku. Izuku would look at himself before saying, "I have a quirk?" This is where Izuku, as if it was like instinct, would reach back his hand. And yes, I know this isn't Broly's thing, but I don't give 2 flying fucks. I'm making Izuku have Kamehameha. As without even thinking about it, he would say, "Kamehameha." As we'd see this giant green beam of light be sent flying at the man. As this would go through the clouds, penetrating them, before sending out a massive not firework, but essentially this massive shockwave. This is where we'd see the villain on the ground, his eyes rolled in the back of his head. As suddenly the heroes would arrive, they would say, "Kid, did you do this?" Izuku would turn at them, his aura starting to dissipate, before saying, yeah, Before he could finish his sentence, Izuku collapsed on the ground, fainting. Izuku would wake up. Waking up in this planet, like no other. I can't remember what planet Broly was stranded on, but that planet, Izuku would look, only seeing an absolute unit, aka Broly, towering over him. Yeah, I'm making Broly even taller than Izuku. Yeah, I know. I still don't give 2 fucks. He's tall as hell. I'm making it that way, by the way. I'm not sure how tall Broly really is, but I'm just gonna make him tall. I'm making him Whitebeard height. I don't give 2 flying fucks. He would be 21 feet tall. As you'd say, you. As Izuku would be afraid, he'd say, yeah? He'd say, "Listen here, kid. You are my reincarnation. You will have my power. You will be my successor. You are going to be the strongest person to ever exist. You understand me?" This is where Izuku would say, yeah? This is where he would say, good. Now, before reaching out his hand, as he would wrap his hand around Izuku's face, as Izuku would collapse onto the ground, waking up in his body, he would be looking around as he would be in the hospital. He would say, what happened? As his head would be pounding, as he would start yelling out in pain, as in that single moment, Broly would have gave him over 300. I'm making it to where Broly was fucking old, okay? making it to where he got over 1 million years worth of knowledge in that single instant. Izuku would pass out from this, waking up a month later. He would be strapped up to an IV tube. He would stand up before looking around saying, what happened? As Inko would say, sit down, Izuku, sit down. Izuku would say, Mom, before looking at his mother. She'd have tears flowing down her face before hugging him. As he would sit back down, saying, what happened? He would say, Izuku, after you used your quirk, you passed out. And then you woke up screaming, and then you passed back out. And you'd say, yeah, Mom, my head is killing me. We got any painkillers or ibuprofen or something? Advil, something. This is where a nurse would bring Izuku some ibuprofen as he'd chug it with a glass of water. He would say, that should help. As Izuku would say, so Mom, how long have I been asleep? She'd say, a little over a month, Izuku. This is where he would say, really? Suddenly, this is where we'd see, I'm just gonna say the wooden hero. I really don't know his name. He's irrelevant. He would walk in, along with a giant girl, I'm pretty sure her name, and that other nigga. We don't care about him, though. He's a bitch. I mean, not really, but they yelled at my boy Izuku. That was not okay. They would say, hey, kid, that was really something. You were something out there. That was incredible. How would you like to join my agency? The wooden hero would say. Izuku would say, no, thank you. Honestly, I think I'm more of a solo dolo hero, not somebody's sidekick. Well, possibly hero, as you would say, or what? Really? So what's your quirk? Izuku would say, I don't know. I was never pronounced with a quirk up until that point. It was like something awoke in me. This is where Izuku's hair... Nah, I'm not gonna do that yet. This is where Izuku would walk out of the hospital. Of course, a week later, Izuku would be walking onto the street. Of course, towering over people as usual. Catching glimpses and stares, as they would say, while whispering, I wonder what his quirk is. This is where Izuku would just say, oh, wow, they think I have a quirk. That's shocking. This is where some people would say, oh, it's that guy from the video. They'd walk over to Izuku before saying, can I take a picture? Izuku would say, sure, but why would you want a picture with a nobody like me? This is where we would say, a nobody? Are you kidding me? You went viral. As he would say, what do you mean? As he'd pull up a video. This video would have over 1 billion views. Izuku's eyes would widen and say, oh my god. As he'd say, yeah, we all saw you. As he'd take a picture with Izuku. This is where Izuku would say, yeah, thanks. As more people would surround him before asking for pictures, all Izuku would see is flashes. As Izuku would say, okay, I'm starting to get blinded. Ow, my eyes. As Izuku would close his eyes, this is where he would hear a gasp. Izuku would look down, only to see himself floating in the air. He would say, what the hell? As you say, whoa. As you start losing control, as you say, whoa. Suddenly, Izuku would remember. All that knowledge would start flooding into Izuku's head once more. Except this time, it wouldn't hurt this time. He'd remember all of his abilities and memories from the past. Of course, not being Broly, but rather being Deku. Broly or Izuku would stop perfectly balancing himself before looking down at them, before smiling. As you fly away, as we see Izuku fly, as you hear a sonic boom, as Izuku would be going Mach 3. Now, this is where we would cut. To see Izuku in class sitting down, he would be, of course, having to have a bigger chair and a bigger desk. I mean, that would just look silly. Teacher would say, now, I know we have a test today, but I know you all want to have it all. Wait, fuck, I messed it up. My bad. I know we should have a test today, but I know you all want to be heroes. This is where the whole class would erupt as they would start using all their quirks for saying, yeah, woo! As Bakugo would say, damn these losers. As you'd start reading to himself, saying, wow, these guys, okay, that's a good school, okay, he could probably get in there. Alright, let's want a little bit optimistic, okay, wow. As teacher would stop her from saying, Izuku, you want to go to UA? This is where Izuku would say, yeah, why? I'd say, oh, it's shocking. I mean, we all saw that video online of you, but, I mean, you sure that wasn't just a one-time thing? As Izuku would say, I'm sure I've awakened my quirk now. As Bakugo would start laughing before saying, nerd, you really think you have a quirk now just because you had that one-time flare-up? Like, come on now, kid. You'll never be able to go to UA like me. As I'm going to be the #1 hero. You'll probably be in the top 1000s. Even if you become a hero, I mean. For crying out loud, you can't even control any of your abilities, I mean. That was probably just a fluke. As Izuku just laughed himself or saying, if you say so. As you say, what'd you say, Deku? Izuku would say, oh, I just said, if you think that. As you'd say, oh, really? Well, you want to go? As the teacher would say, now, before I could finish a sentence. Izuku would just look at him or saying, it's okay. Let me put him in his place. He'd say, what? Izuku would stand up, towering over Bakugo. Bakugo would feel intimidated before trying to blast Izuku. Izuku would tank the blast, as smoke would cover the whole room. The smoke would dissipate, only to see Izuku smiling, as his hair would start to lift up off them, like defying gravity. As Izuku would say, you know you messed up. This is where all we would see is this absolute this absolute shockwave be sent throughout the class, breaking all the glass, as his green aura once more would surround Izuku. He would now say, ha, ha, as he'd start charging up. His hair would start flickering, changing. His hair would start to change to a blue color. As he'd say, ah, 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 as Izuku's hair would now be a blue color. His pupil would now be blue. He would look down at Bakugo. Bakugo would now be scared before thinking, take this! Before he could even blast, Izuku would grab him by his wrist, lifting him up off the ground, as he'd pull him up to his eye level. And you'd say, you really want to do that? As you try to blast Izuku, Izuku would grab his other hand. As you'd say, if I wanted to, I could snap you in half like a twig. This is where you would say, I could also destroy you. As, essentially, I know this probably won't happen, but Broly would have been the god of destruction. Yeah, I know. A boy can dream. This is where he would say, anyways, you ever try that again, I will make sure you'll never achieve your dreams of being a hero. As you drop him on the ground, his hair would stop defying gravity as you turn back to a green color. This is where Izuku would apologize to the class. Not to Bakugo, of course, because he was on the right. He would say, I apologize. Now I must be taking my leave. This is where we would cut to the UA entrance exams. Izuku would walk in. He wouldn't trip this time, but a girl would. She would trip, falling, as Izuku would catch her. As she would look up only to see this absolute unit. She would say, thank you, as she would nod profusely. Izuku would smile before saying, no problem. Izuku would walk inside, as this is where President Mike would walk in before saying, oh my god. As he'd look at Izuku, the whole class would just be looking at him, as Izuku would say, yeah? Say, you're huge. Is your quirk being gigantic or something? Super strength something? Izuku would say something like that, but not exactly like that. He'd say, so you have super strength? Yeah, but not only that. As he'd say, wow, I can't wait to see what you can do. As essentially Ida wouldn't do what he did in canon, and President Mike will be able to give a speech uninterrupted, as he would explain the whole shebang, bang, 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 bang. Now I'm just going to skip over this, as Izuku essentially would have destroyed all the robots, not even giving another person any chances. Due to this, the heroes and All Might, or in particular, would be intrigued by this, as this is where this is where I would see Izuku leaving the entrance exams. This is where he'd be stopped by his hero, his favorite hero, All Might. All Might would look at Izuku, as you'd say, while looking up, oh my god, you're huge. But Izuku Midoriya, if I remember correctly, that's your name, right? Izuku would say, yeah, that's my name. I would say, I saw what you did out there, and I just gotta say, I am impressed. You didn't even give any of their other kids any chances. Due to that, they're gonna probably have to take another test, as, well, you kind of destroyed all the robots, not giving anyone else a chance to pass, but yeah, you have so much great potential. That's why I want you to be my successor. Izuku would just look at him before saying, really? Say, of course, why wouldn't I? You have such great potential. For crying out loud, you could probably be the number one hero someday. Izuku, just hearing this from the number one hero, his eyes would widen. As they think on it before jumping away, he wouldn't be able to. Izuku would stop him. As he was jumping off, Izuku would have just placed his hand on his shoulder, stopping him from moving. He would say, oh, wow, you're strong. Izuku would say, yeah, I get that, but I think I've made a decision. I would say, really? Well, what's your decision? Izuku just looked at him before saying, I think I will take you up on that offer. As you'd say, great. As you'd fill him in on his quirk. Izuku would just look at him before saying, oh, your quirk. Oh, you want me to take your quirk? Oh, that's what you mean by successor? As you'd say, yeah, what else would I mean? As you'd say, oh, I thought you meant like you'll train me. As you'd say, of course I will. As you'd say, but if I do take your quirk, will it also take my abilities? As you'd say, no, it'll essentially just copy them into the quirk. And if you pass it on to the next user, they'll have it. As it would say. So essentially, I'd be creating another number one hero if I pass on my quirk. You'd say, maybe if you really are that strong already. Izuku would say, oh, okay. This is where he'd give All Might not All Might. This is where he'd take All Might's strand of hair, pause, as he'd eat it, gaining all for one. This is where Izuku would stand there. As Izuku would just looking as he would say, I don't feel any. As he would freeze, Izuku's hair would be defying gravity as a yellow aura would surround him. Izuku would start to lose himself. He would fall onto the ground. As you'd start, his hair would start flickering a yellowish color. As he'd say, I think my body's rejecting it. All Might. As he'd say, I didn't expect that to happen. What do I do? This is where Izuku would just smirk to himself before standing up, before saying, I'm just kidding. All Might's eyes would widen before saying, never do that again, okay? Izuku would say, okay. This is where we cut, blah, 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 training art, blah, blah, blah. Izuku would got in trouble. Mastered all for one. Yes, he did. Not all for one. One for all, blah, 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 Anyways, this is where we'd see Izuku sitting down in his class, of course, with his bigger chair and bigger desk. As you'd be sitting down, Ida and Bakugo would be bickering, as Aizawa would stand up and saying, calm down. Damn, y'all are loud as hell. Now, as you explain what to do, blah, 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 they would go outside. This is where it would be Izuku's turn. Izuku would walk up, grabbing the ball, picking it up, of course, as I said. As you cock back his arm, as you say, what happens if I don't go all out? As you would say, if you don't go all out, then I will cancel your quirk. Izuku would say, okay. As this is where his hair would flicker, turning into Ultra Mastered Ultra Instinct. Yes, I'm just gonna say Billy got that because I want Izuku to be overpowered, okay? Don't question me. Just go with the flow, alright? Just go with it. This is where Izuku closes his eyes, going into 100% one for all. One for all. This is where on top of his, this white aura surrounding him, it would have this yellow, orangish, orangish background. Damn, I don't know why that was so difficult. Damn. Anyways, Izuku would cock back his arm. As you throw it, suddenly we'd hear a shockwave. As you'd see the ball travel, breaking through the atmosphere, breaking through Mars, going into orbit, breaking through Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, every planet, before breaking through the sun, going out of it, revealing a metal ball and a tracking chip, leaving the solar system as the tracking would be gone. Izuku would power down as you say, well, that was me going all out. I saw his eyes would widen as you say, holy shit. I could sense you weren't even trying. What the hell? This is where Aizawa would say, you're as Deku would say, are you okay, Aizawa? I turn only to see the whole class just in awe, in shock, in disbelief. Bakugo would realize that he has no chance of competing with this power, this unit that is Deku, or Izuku. He realized that Izuku might as well become the number one hero right now, as he's way too powerful. Izuku would say, Aizawa, he would say, yeah, I don't even know what to say. All Might be watching this. He would just be in shock. His jaw would be on the ground. He would say, oh my god. I think even if I didn't give him the quirk, he, he would he would still be able to do that with ease. He wasn't even trying. What the actual fuck? He's a monster. He's a unit. He's a god. Izuku, just hearing all of this, would say, okay, get your jaws off the ground? Bakugo would have collapsed to his knees. His whole mentality would have changed. He would stand up off the ground, walking over to Izuku, now with a depressed look on his face. His hair droopy. He would say, Izuku, you broke my pride. There's no way of competing with you, Izuku. As much as I hate to say this, teach me how to become as strong as you. As in that moment, Izuku would have been shocked. So would everyone else. As for the first time in Bakugo's life, he would have swallowed his pride. He would have actually asked someone to teach him. Izuku would just look at him before saying, sure. I'd say, thank you. Before walking back over, before yelling, everyone stop looking at me. Seemingly reverting back to his normal self. As you would just say, and don't let that go to your head, Izuku. As this would be a rare time that Bakugo actually said his name instead of Deku. This is where Izuku would say, okay. As Aizawa would just say, next. As the whole class would be in a down mood before realizing they can never compete with that monster. This is where Izuku would essentially break everything that he touched. After the second thing he broke, Aizawa would have just said, stop doing the test, you got 100% on all of them. This is where Izuku would just say, okay. As you stop, as you realize All Might was watching before walking over to All Might. We're saying, whoa. So, is there anything you would like to say? You'd say, I saw what you did. You're a unit. Izuku would say, thank you. As you say, I'm not just saying that you're God. Izuku would say, okay, stop that, stop it. This is where he would say, well, with that out of the way, well, we should go get you a hero suit by now. I mean, pretty sure Principal Nezu would be far than willing to bump you up a few classes. This is where he'd say, really? So I'll be qualified as a hero? As Izuku would smirk. As well, All Might would say, yeah. But that still doesn't mean you can, skip your classes now. As you'd say, matter of fact, screw that. You're gonna still have to take your classes, but I'm gonna talk Principal Nezu into giving you your own hero's license. Izuku would say, really? Okay, that means I can do hero things now? This is where he would have a devious smirk on his face for saying, I'm gonna put every villain in jail. I'd say, oh, you can't do that. We wouldn't have enough. My bad, I thought I heard a howl, bro. I thought it was a wolf outside. My bad. This is where Principal Nezu, or no, we would cut to see Principal Nezu and Izuku and All Might sitting off. Principal Nezu would just be shaking his head, and I say, So, uh, Izuku, you have a voucher from All Might, the #1 hero, and with that, I'll be happy, and I mean glad, to give you your own hero's license. But you'll still have to take your classes, okay? Izuku would say, yeah, okay. As you say, you also have to be, you'll also have to, be, you'll also have to be mindful of your power when it comes to dealing with villains. As with that show of power you displayed earlier, you are capable of killing a villain without even trying. Never let a villain break you or anger you. Okay? Izuku would smirk before saying, okay, as he'd walk out of the office. This is where Izuku would walk home, opening the door. As he would say, Mom, guess what? Inko would turn before walking out of the kitchen, before saying, what is it, Izuku, with her apron on? As he would say, I got a hero's license. As she would say, but how? He would say, well, All Might was so impressed with my power, he personally recommended me to Principal Nezu to get a hero's license. But I still have to take all my classes. As you'd say, that's great, Izuku. As Izuku would say, yeah, I'm the first person in my class to become a hero. As he'd have a smug look on his face before saying, can't wait to rub it in. This is where we cut to tomorrow. Izuku would walk into the class. Everyone would just be looking at him with a weird look on their faces. As he would say, what's with that outfit? Izuku would smirk before saying, this outfit? What do you mean? As Izuku would essentially have on, imagine Superman's outfit, except it would be green. No, eh. Yeah, because Broly, associate. Yeah, it would be a green with no undies, because that was just dumb as hell, and a black cape. The symbol would, of course, wouldn't be there, as I do not want that. Instead, this time, Izuku would have a P on his chest for, B for Broly. As Baku would burst out laughing before keeping his composure by saying, I'm sorry. It's just that outfit, Izuku. What the hell? Why are you even wearing that? As you'd say, I lied. Imagine All Might's outfit except green, and of course, not having that. Those stripes, I guess. The stripes, and the colors would be green and black. And he would also have a cape. Yeah. This is where Izuku would say, well, I'm actually a hero now. As you'd say, what, you're kidding. This is where All Might would burst through the door saying, walking through the door like a normal person. As you'd say, and what Izuku said is true. He is a hero, but he still has to take all these hero classes. And Izuku, what did I say about wearing that outfit? As Izuku would say, oh, my bad, All Might. As you change. No, essentially, the suit would start to disappear off Izuku. Imagine Tony Stark's outfit in Infinity War and Endgame, except it's, well, All Might. The outfit I just described. Okay. This is where Izuku would say, my bad. As they would all be in awe, as Izuku would be wearing his uniform, as you'd sit down. As you'd say, today, blah, 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 this is where you get all your outfits, yada, yada, yada. Now, this is where the hero versus villains would happen. Izuku would, of course, be paired up with Uraraka. But instead of Bakugo and Ida, it is Bakugo and Todoroki. The two would bump heads, as Todoroki would say, well, this will be hard, but I'm pretty sure I can take them on. This is where Izuku would just walk through the halls, as Bakugo would say, "You know we're fucked, right?" As you'd say, "Well, that might be true, but it doesn't mean we can't try." This is where Bakugo would run, blasting through walls trying to find Izuku. As you finally find Izuku, Izuku would just be standing there waiting for Bakugo. After you'd heard these explosions, he would just basically said, "Uraka, stay back." Izuku would just be waiting as Bakugo burst through the wall before standing in front of Izuku, as Izuku in classic, now this version of Izuku fashion, towering over him. He would say, "You really want to do this, Bakugo?" Bakugo would say, "I should try," as he'd run at him before, of course, saying, "I'll have to do this," before unplugging his gauntlets, as he'd say, "Full-powered explosion!" No, sonic boom! As he would let out his biggest explosion, the half of the building would be destroyed, collapsing onto the ground. We would just see the outline of Izuku standing there, as if smoke would dissipate, only to see Izuku standing there, completely unfazed, and only with dust now covering his suit. He'd wipe off the dust for saying, "You know you're gonna lose, right?" He'd say, "Damn, I knew this would come to this." Todoroki, as an ice, would sprout up from up the ground, surrounding Izuku, making it to where Izuku was frozen. He would say, "Wow, he really wasn't that tough." As you turn around, the ice would shatter, shocking Todoroki and Bakugo. They'd say, "That's surprising. I mean, for crying out loud, I'm on track to being the #1 hero." This is where Izuku would say, "Anyways," before pointing his finger at them, creating a gun gesture, before saying, "Bang." As suddenly they would fall onto the ground. Izuku would turn back to Uraka, as Uraka would say, "Wow, Izuku," as she would trip backwards. Before she could fall even further, Izuku would grab her, pulling her up, as she would fall on top of Izuku. As Uraka would now be blushing, as she would be on top of Izuku in a non-PG-13 position. As she would start blushing before getting off Izuku, before bowing profusely, before saying, I'm sorry. Izuku would just smirk before standing up, saying, "Oh, don't worry about it." This is where Uraka would, start to develop a crush on Izuku. Of course, Izuku, as I'm not gonna make a basic ship, of course. As well, essentially, Izuku would say, "Anyways, are we done, All Might?" As All Might would say, "Indeed." As the villain team is defeated, all that's missing is the bomb. As the bomb would be ticking down from 10, 9, 8. As Izuku would jump up, breaking through the building. As he would jump on top of the bomb before touching it. As he'd fall back down. As he'd land. As you'd say, "Anyways," as he would pick up Uraka before floating down onto the ground. As he'd walk inside, the viewing room, blah, blah, blah. As the only critique is, Deku could have prevented a lot of damage from happening, but if he finished Bakugo off sooner and not allowing him to break his gauntlets, and Uraka could have done more. That was basically it. This is where Izuku would say, "I'm sorry, All Might." Now, this is where we'd cut, as the rest of the matchups would happen the same, except instead of, I forget what Todoroki and Todoroki's team was. Oh, Invisible Girl and Todoroki, if I remember correctly. Don't bash me, but I can't remember exactly, but yeah. As this is off the top of my dome. Anyways, we'd cut to see Izuku floating above the city, looking down at it. He'd be listening closely. He'd scream for help. Izuku would fly down, breaking through the sound barrier like he always does, flying Mach 5, I know. As Izuku would land, no, he would slam into the ground before landing, only to see a group of members surrounding a girl. She would have tattered clothing. Izuku would just look at them in disgust before saying, "You. Did they hurt you, ma'am?" That's what she would say. Yeah. They hurt my dog. As you would see a cute little puppy beaten, bloodied, in a pool of its own blood. Izuku, seeing this, his eyes would widen. As he would say, you monsters. This is where he would start to lose himself in anger. His eyes would turn white as his aura would surround him. He would let out a deafening scream as the whole city could hear this scream. Izuku would now be surrounded in this purple aura, looking at, well, her. He would say, you bastard, before vanishing, reappearing behind one of them, grabbing them by the back of their heads, slamming them into the ground before backhanding another, sending him flying into the wall before uppercutting one, sending him flying into the air. Before he could hit the ground, he would grab him by his leg, stopping him an inch from the ground as he'd hit it. Izuku would then punch another in his gut, before flickering behind another, grabbing him by his leg, as he'd cause him to kneel. As he'd say you're sorry now. He'd I'm sorry, we're sorry. As Izuku would say, good, before punching him, knocking him down. Izuku would suddenly revert back to himself before looking at, as he'd say, before turning to the woman saying, I'm sorry. She would have this terrified look on his face as you'd walk towards her, as you'd freeze, saying, Get away from me! Izuku would just look at this before saying, before uttering, I'm sorry, ma'am. As he'd fly off, flying back to his house before walking inside. His eyes would now have this look of disbelief as you really think to himself, I lost myself. How could I? This is where Izuku would say, I have to go do something. I have to make up for what I did. I can never lose myself again. This is where Izuku would start meditating for hours on end. As Izuku would essentially take all his classes, passing and graduating. Damn, I forgot about a couple of events. Shit, I can't end the what if off here, but Izuku would fly out of his house as he would beat up a bunch of criminals, bringing them into the police. This would cause Izuku to start making headlines, being called the up-and-coming hero, calling himself Broly. This would catch the eye of Stain. And yes, I know I'm missing the USJ, but I should go over there before I go to Stain, though. Anyways, we would see Izuku standing in front of the USJ. Not Todoroki. This is where, the whole shebang bang would happen, but before anything bad could happen to Aizawa, Izuku would have vanished, taking them out all in an instant. Izuku would be standing in front of Nomo. Nomo would fall onto the ground along with Shigaraki and essentially every villain there. Izuku would just look at them. His whole class would just be in shock. Aizawa would still not get used to this absolute display of power. If you get the reference, comment down below. This is where Izuku would say, you all are scum. This is where Izuku would say, I'm sorry about that. as they would all be arrested and taken to a special prison made for people with quirks. After All for One would have got this news, he would have been disappointed with Shigaraki. I do think to himself, I have to kill that boy. This is where we cut to the Stain Killer arc. Yeah. Damn. The festival. Deku would come first place. There's really not much more to say. Other than Izuku comes first place. I mean, what more do you want? I mean, that's just the outcome. Now, finally, any other event I'm missing, my bad, but Izuku, whatever event that comes after that, he would come first place, blah, 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 whatever. Izuku would just dominate. But this is where we could cut to the Stain Killer arc. Izuku would hear the cries of Ida. This is where Izuku would fly, breaking past Mach 5, going Mach 10. As he would just flying over to, Ida. In an instant he would arrive, landing only to see Ida bloodied, as he'd be panting. Bitch ass nigga. My bad. You're just fucking trying to fly in my face. Damn, that shit was annoying. Anyways. Of course, after seeing his classmate and friend bloody like this, he would looking at the hero killer. He would say, "You bastard, look what you've done to my friend." This is where Izuku would say, "You know what's about to come, right?" This is where Stain would smirk, saying, "Oh, if it isn't the wannabe All Might. I've been wanting to get my hands on you for some time now, I want the taste of your blood on my blade." This is where Izuku would just look at him with a disgusted look, for saying, "Are you a pervert?" As you'd say, "What? Of course not. I'm not a scum like them." Izuku would say, "True." I would say, "Oh, my bad. I shouldn't have associated you with them." He'd say, "Yeah, I accept your apologies. Now, where were we?" As Izuku would say, "Oh, yeah, we were about to fight or something." And he would say, "Yeah, oh shit, I really don't want to do this now after what you just accused me of. I feel weird using my quirk on you." As you'd say, "I mean, you did use whatever your quirk is on my friend over there, so yeah, but whatever, we should probably still fight." I'd say, "Yeah." This is where he'd rush at Izuku before saying, "Die!" Trying to slash Izuku. Izuku would dodge out of the way before saying, "So boring now." Before saying, "Bang." Suddenly, the hero killer would fall onto the ground. As Izuku would be given credit for this, bumping his way up through the hero rankings. Izuku would make headlines, being interviewed, gaining even more notoriety. Izuku would now have fan art made of him. He would have posters hung up, documentaries about him. Money would be rolling in. He'd buy his Inko a new house. Everything he ever wanted to do for her. Izuku would have also took down All for One, bumping his way all the way up to number 2, replacing Endeavor, until All Might would inevitably retire, making Izuku the number 1 hero, revealing to the world that All Might was his mentor and like a father figure to him. All Might would be standing right next to him, along with Inko, as the two. Yeah, I'm making it this way. As the two would now be essentially married. As Izuku would look at his mom's belly before saying, "And I would also like to announce a younger brother on the way." As this would make headlines, All Might is gonna have a child, blah blah blah. as essentially Izuku would stop all crime. Crime would be at an all-time low, the lowest in history, as Izuku would fly across countries, stopping crime, becoming an international hero. Whenever there's a cry for help, Izuku would be there. Whenever there's a need for help, Izuku would be there. Izuku would be known as the world's best hero. Eventually, Izuku rise to power, becoming the president. I'm just fucking with you. But essentially, Izuku would become the absolute best hero. And of course, because I want to, I already said that there's not going to be no rocket ship. I guess I should tie up some loose ends. Izuku would have ended up with Momo as her game, essentially, would be crazy. Her, as some people might say, her neck game, Loki go crazy. Oh, my bad. I'm trying so far not to die of laughter. What else? Oh, yeah, Uraka would confess her love to Izuku. Izuku would have rejected her, but putting down her the nicest way he possibly can, not making Uraka feel that bad afterwards. He would treat her to ice cream. As the two would be best friends, as Uraka would have ended up with Bakugo. I don't give two fucks, right? And Bakugo would have ended up becoming the number 2 hero. And yeah, and Izuku's younger brother would become the next inheritor. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. Izuku's child with Momo would become the next hero, inheriting all of Izuku's powers and more, as you become the next successor of One for All, and becoming essentially the next number 1 hero. All Might and Inko would die, as leaving Izuku alone, of course with his wife and kid, as his kid would be 18, becoming a hero, as he would have become the number 1 hero, following his father's footsteps, taking up the mantle of Broly. As Broly, essentially Izuku's bloodline would gain notoriety, being known as the superior bloodline, the number 1 bloodline. As from this point on, all of Izuku's descendants would have been number 1 heroes, or very important figures, essentially making it to where Izuku would have gained even more popularity after death, as even 15,000 years into the future, Izuku's name would still be known. Statues around the world would be made of him. People would essentially worship him as their god, making Izuku, of course, gaining legacy, having a legacy. Now with that out of the way, I'm gonna end this what if off here. It is none other than Sarukage, and I'm out to what if Deku was Broly's reincarnation. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'm actually out this time. Peace.